Viltrox are releasing lots of new lenses every year, and recently they released the 56mm 1.7 for the Nikon Z mount APS-C cameras as well as for the Fuji X mount. I didn't have the chance to test them, but recently they released this one, the 56mm 1.7 for the Sony E mount, and I got this one. Let's talk about it. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm Photorabs. I make videos about photography, filmmaking, camera tech related reviews, unboxings, action cams, vlogging kits and so on. If you are interested in these topics, I highly appreciate if you go subscribe to my channel. That's a massive help. Today's video is not sponsored by Viltrox. They sent me this one for the Sony E mount to test it for free. They don't have any input on the production of this video and they didn't pay me to make it or to talk about them. So this one is the 56mm 1.7 for the Sony E mount. You can find it for the Fuji X mount as well as for the Nikon Z mount APS-C cameras. This lens is only for APS-C cameras, and if you are interested in this lens, I have my affiliate link with Viltrox. You can get, I think, up to 8% discount when purchasing from their web store. Before I show you some photos I took with this lens along with my Sony a6700, let me tell you that the 56mm on APS-C sensors is equivalent to 84-85mm on a full frame scale, and the aperture 1.7 on APS-C is equivalent to aperture 2.8 on a full frame camera, which is ideal for portrait photo shoots on a budget. This lens here is the second iteration of the same focal length made by Viltrox. Previously, a few years ago, they released the 56mm 1.4, which is equivalent to f2.4 on a full frame scale. I made lots of photo shoots with it, and knowing that 2.4 and 2.8, we have only half a stop difference between the two iterations. I used the 56mm 1.4 a lot for about maybe 2 years. I'm very proud of the results I got with that lens. It was my go-to lens for portrait photo shoots when traveling with my Fuji X mount cameras, and I'm very satisfied with the results, even though it had some problems concerning the chromatic aberration, concerning the focus hunt when we had the sunlight facing the camera, for example. It was not the perfect lens for these situations. I sold it when Viltrox released the 75mm 1.2 because this lens is a beast of a lens. I'm very happy to get this lens. I'm very happy to use this lens on my portrait photo shoots, and recently they released this one. The difference between this one and the old version is not only related to the aperture. We have only half a stop difference between the old one and this one, but this one is way lighter, way smaller, and it's built from plastic. The other one was built from metal, totally metal, but this one is made from plastic. But I can tell you, I can assure you that this plastic here is very well built, because I have this lens, the 20mm 2.8 for the Nikon Z mount full frame cameras. I've been using it on my Nikon Z6 III recently, and I was shooting an event. I took it out of the bag to put it on the camera to film with it, and it fell on the ground, on the concrete ground. I was very worried to use it in front of the client. I was very worried that this lens will not work and I'll be in a trouble with my client, so I didn't use it back then. When I came back home, I put it on the camera and everything works perfectly. I don't even have bumps on the lens, I don't even have scratches on the lens, and that's why I can tell you that this one, the 56mm 1.7, is very well built, even though it's made from plastic. What I don't like about it and about these kind of lenses here, the small lenses from Viltrox, is the lens hood. I don't feel, even though it's very solid, I can tell you, but I don't feel very comfortable when putting it on the lens, because you don't have that serious click here to be assured that the lens hood is well put. And that's the only thing I regret on this lens from Viltrox. On the back side of the lens, we have this USB-C port here, which is very handy to have all the firmware updates done on the lens before start shooting, and that's very important. We have this now on all the lenses, whether from Viltrox or the other brands. We have always a USB-C port to have these updates, these firmware updates done, and we don't have on the back side a rubber gasket, so this lens is not weather sealed. It is not rain proof, so make sure not to use it under the rain and in humid situations. On another note, the first iteration of this lens cost about 350 euros now, while this one, the 1.7 version, cost less than 200 euros. That makes this lens great for those who would like to start their journey in portrait photography on the go, and for those who are not a portrait photographer but they would like to start to try portrait photography with a budget-friendly lens, with a lightweight lens, with a compact lens that will not take much place in the backpack and will not add weight to the backpack. This lens is to go with, and if you are interested in this one, you can find it for the APS-C cameras from Nikon Z mount, Sony E mount, as well as Fuji X mount cameras, and you can use my affiliate link. You can get some discount when purchasing from the Viltrox web store. On the practical level, this lens is very interesting to have. If you are a travel photographer, if you are a landscape photographer, if you are a travel vlogger, you have this camera with you, let's say the a6700 from Sony with this kit lens or any other lens, and you'd like to take some portraits for your kids, for your family, or you met some models on the go, you would like to take some portraits for them, you can get this one. It's not heavy, it's not big, it doesn't cost you a lot, and look at the size compared to the kit lens with the Sony. It is somehow compact lens, very compact compared to some other 56mm lens in the market for APS-C cameras. So this one, you won't go wrong with it because it costs less than 200 euros and you get crazy shots with it. Personally, I've been using this lens since last week when it arrived, along with my Sony a6700. I can tell you that I'm very satisfied with the image quality. I've done a photo shoot with it. The image quality is very nice. I was afraid to have those chromatic aberrations I had with the previous generation. I didn't have any chromatic aberration on my photos. I'm very proud of that. And the autofocus is accurate, it's silent, it's a stepping motor here. And I can tell you it's not the fastest in the market, so I cannot rely on it perfectly for some video shoots, even though I need some long lenses for my video shoots. But it's not gonna be my main lens for those kind of shoots unless I don't have place in my backpack, unless I'm limited in the weight on my backpack. That will be the lens to go with. But to be honest, at this price range, we cannot expect to have more with this lens. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click like, that helps me a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, that's a massive help. And if you are willing to experiment some portrait shots on a budget and having that blurry background, this lens is the lens to go with. It costs less than 200 euros. You cannot go wrong with it. You can keep it in your backpack. It will not take much place. It will not add more weight to your backpack. And you will always have this tiny little lens that allows you to take some nice portraits with a shallow depth of field. That's something interesting to have. And now enjoy the photos I took with this lens and see you in another video. Ciao for now.